Good morning, I'm Ken and this is SB Hummingbird 2. Please subscribe and like this video if you do. And certainly I know it's been a bit of a time since I put one out, but I encourage you to hang in there with us. It's been really difficult to get filming done. I had some technical issues, lost some video, etc., etc. I have set up a PayPal account if you'd like to support us getting launched this year. There's some expenses for that perhaps beyond normal. But anyway, this episode, there's been a lot of progress. There are several days of boat yoga have resulted in getting all the water lines and the wiring that needed to go to the lazarette out there, underneath the stateroom floor as well as under the bed. So quite a bit of boat yoga, as I said. And final runs to the lazarette include for the hot water system, the lights in the lazarette, the pumps in the lazarette, the propane solenoid, all of those things. Tried to get all of that done in one go, so that was quite a task. We've also now as a result of that, have running water on board. I even managed to test out the shower. Although the hot water isn't there yet, but the tanks are fairly warm because of the warm weather we've had. So still, it was quite nice to have that working. The forepeak is pretty much wrapped up as I shot a short video, give you a little more footage today. What's left in there is just terminating some wires, and then the transducer comes from in there, and that wire needs to be run to the pilot house still. Well, it's been a really busy week. For the first time, the sink is not just uncovered, but it actually has dirty dishes in it because we have, yes, running water. I got a cutting board made for the top of the stove, and it spent several days of serious boat yoga. I'll show you just a second. So here we are. This is what under the sink looks like now. So there's a manifold in the back that goes to all the water tanks and has one extra valve for our future water maker. And there's no filter in the filter right now, just to flush the tanks. Some of the water's been in there quite some time since I leak tested them. So where's all the pumps? Well, this shelf opens and yep, the sea chest is actually sealed. I have one waiting for one fitting to put a valve on the top for a bleeder valve. That's the sump for the sink. And so there's a pump for deck wash. There's 100 PSI. And then the other pump that you see there is salt water for the toilet and the water maker. And back behind the sump for the sink is the pump for all of the fresh water. So that was a fun-filled day of boat yoga, getting those in there. And of course there is access under the Lazy Susan. That panel comes out, so it's not as horrid as it sounds. However, it's still pretty tight. Especially, I had to do all that before I could put the sink drains in, because once they're in, then it's really tight. And thankfully, the Lazy Susan still can come out, but just barely. You have to hold your mouth just a certain way to make sure you clear everything. This is our electric motor so far. I just got the battery and the inverter, but they're not installed yet, so we're getting close. And if you notice, back behind that in the next compartment in the keel is where the radiator lives for it. It is a water-cooled electric motor. Little addition, I'm not sure I showed this in the past, but there's a cherry seat, which came from an old sink cutout that I had, but solid cherry. And it folds down. It works as a seat to put your shoes on, but also a step to get up to the bed, especially for my dear wife who is shorter than me. And when you're not using it, it just simply folds down out of the way of the drawers.